I like that. Ooh, what's up, Buffs Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Russ, and it is Wednesday, February 4th. Not having a great job keeping track of time here. For those of you that don't know, I am currently on paternity leave with our newborn child in Florida. We are not in Colorado right now. We won't be back in Colorado till next week. So you get locked in a bedroom, Russ. That's who you get. You don't get the full setup that you usually do. So appreciate you for joining. Appreciate the support as always. You guys have been awesome the last few weeks. The last few months have been absolutely insane. You guys are killing it every single day. And so I truly do appreciate it. You know, we signed up for daycare in May when we're both going to be back from our leaves, and man, is it expensive. So I told my wife the YouTube channel is going to support daycare. So she's all on board and happy with me doing this. So that's what you guys do by watching this. So appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you joining me today. And we are going to be talking about National Signing Day, which is today, February 4th. We'll talk about the Buffs, who got what, who's signed with the Buffs so far. We have 2 confirmed signings, 2 players we're waiting on, and 1 player did flip that we will be talking about in this stream. We're also going to be talking about a couple candidates for the defensive line coaching job. No insider information. I'm not giving you guys, something that I've been given. I'm just going to throw out some names that are kind of interesting out there and available as maybe potential candidates. Maybe they're not good candidates. We can discuss as we do together. So appreciate you guys for joining. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you like what I do here at Buffs News Weekly. Let's get into it. Just saw no audio, except people are responding to the daycare. So there you go. Forget about you. How's the baby? Alexis. The baby's doing great. We're finally kind of in a rhythm, guys. Okay, plenty of guys to hear me. We're finally in a rhythm. I think a little bit last night. I think we got the most sleep that we got. We're taking shifts. Pretty much he's either asleep, wakes up to eat, we change him, goes back to sleep. That's what's happening right now. So I talked about that last stream. He's the only one that I was worried about with Peko leaving the Buffs, but with his brother committed and signed, I wondered if he would still at least come and join his brother. He's one of the only ones we're waiting on right now. Officially, I'll let you guys know the 2 players that have officially signed their letter of intent per 24/7, Keneal Sweetwine and Jacob Swain. Of course, Jacob Swain just committed to Colorado this past week, so that kind of makes sense that he's already signed. Joseph Peko and Cam Newton have not officially signed their paperwork, although Cam Newton I'm not worried about because Cam Newton was a player that really we were his only Power 4 option. And so I would assume he's going to join us and still be a part of that. We'll have to see what's going to happen with that. Joseph Peko, we'll have to keep an eye on it with his brother, still being there, dad leaving. That's just where it is. So, yeah, that's what we got going on. Oh, we need that Russ and Peggy collab. That'd be hilarious. That's why we signed Jacob Swain, I'm assuming. Yeah, to be honest, when Jacob Swain signed, committed, I kind of wondered. I'm like, we have way too many receivers. I know you can't ever have too many receivers, but I think Rodney has it here. I wasn't sure about Xavier once Dolph decommitted. What was it, a couple weeks ago? Extra depth at the receiver. We know that receiver is not a priority for Colorado. We have a lot of depth and receivers there and guys there that we are going to lose guys next offseason. I guarantee we are going to lose a number of guys because if guys like Quinnell Farrakhan and Quentin Gibson don't do much this season, they're easily could be gone. So I'm not too worried about the receivers room. That's not one I'm going to panic about. I would love to get Joseph Peko. I think he could be a great commit for Colorado. I think he could get some playing time this year in the interior. So I hope he still signs. I hope he plays. To me, it just makes sense for him to stay. You know, this late in the cycle, National Signing Day, his dad doing this last second, his brother being there. I think it would be a mistake for him to not come to Colorado at least for his first year. Right? Ronnie, baby's name is Micah. We named him Micah. And I mentioned this on the last stream. 9 pounds, 8 ounces at birth. Big baby. Big baby. So yeah, that's where we're at with signing day. We lose Xavier McDonald. I like what I saw on tape with Xavier McDonald. Had great size, decent speed, good playmaking ability when we watched his tape. But again, receiver is not something we're lacking in. That this is like a huge loss, like it would have been. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, we're doing good on running backs. Honestly, any of the skill position, I'm not worried. Not in a Brennan Marion offense. He's going to recruit hard at those positions. He's going to get some good players at those positions. Maybe not the 5 stars. We don't necessarily need the 5 stars. He's going to find guys that fit his system specifically. And just look at some of the guys that he has going on in his past for recruits. Yeah, we definitely, and they're working on that. Okay, I will let everybody know. I think I've mentioned it before. They're looking to add some JUCO talent from the defensive line. So really depth pieces, not guys. I mean, the guys on the roster right now are expected to be the impact players. There's going to be a few more guys get added at some point this offseason, and they're most likely going to be guys of depth than anything big. I agree on this one. Great topic to bring up. It's something that I'm going to discuss later on. I talked to you guys about doing a show with David Talks Buffs. We're going to go Friday. Okay, we're going to do Friday evening for the Buff Blitz. We're going to talk about the transfer class, who we're most excited about, who's most under the radar, and all of that stuff as well. So make sure you guys join us on Friday. I'll have an announcement on my socials about that. Appreciate Alpine as always. Congrats, Russ, another baby buff in the family. That's right. And then I'm gonna see about bringing him to his first CU game. We'll see how he is by then. He'll almost be a year old. You know, maybe it's time to put him in the winter gear and take him to his first buff game. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Appreciate Alpine. It wouldn't hurt, but like I said, I'm good. Ponder, Isaac Wilson, Juju being our main 3 quarterbacks. And I will say this, no offense. You guys know I loved Ryan Staub. I love what he brought to the table. I thought he was a pretty darn good, decent, good backup quarterback. I think he'll be a great backup quarterback at Tennessee. And if he needs to play, he plays. I do think Isaac Wilson is a better backup quarterback and a guy who could push Juju. Not saying he's going to beat Juju out, but at least compete with him and help push Juju to be the player he needs. And here's the thing. Like past years, if Juju were, heaven forbid, get injured at some point, Isaac Wilson can step in and definitely run this offense quite effectively. They could adjust the offense, make it a little bit more running play designed, because Isaac Wilson is pretty darn good at that. Throw the ball around the yard a little bit. I think it could be successful with Isaac Wilson at the helm if that were to happen. Again, fingers crossed, knock on wood. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. So let's get to the second part of the show. And we are going to talk about the defensive line now that Domata Peko has left the Buffs officially. By the way, you heard it here. One of the first people to report it found that tweet very early on. We were live with the show right as that tweet went live last show, where we discussed the departure of Domata Peko to the Pittsburgh Steelers to join Mike McCarthy's staff and what that means for Colorado and what's going to happen. And in searching out there, there's a lot of decent candidates available for defensive line coaches. In fact, there was one that popped up today. Now, I don't think it's an option. I'm not going to, say anything else, but Texas Tech defensive line coach Sarnell Fitch just announced that he is not coming back to Lubbock for the 2026 season. However, the rumors are right now that USC is kind of the destination for him. So I'm going to say it's probably going to be USC, but hey, there's a defensive line coach who's now on the market. Technically, Colorado would be smart to at least pick up the phone and see if is he leaving for sure for USC or if he's open to the idea of joining the Colorado staff. That's one potential candidate. I've got another couple, and I will give credit where credit's due. My man ScoBuffs22 over on Twitter. If you don't follow him, you should. Probably one of the best Twitter follows for CU fans. A friend of the show. He brought up a couple of names that are out there and available. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts if there's any of these that sound any interest to you. So one name is Jeff Zagonina. Played in the NFL from 93 to 2009, was coached by Bill Kollar at Purdue and in Atlanta, coached alongside Kollar with the Texans. If you don't understand that connection, Bill Kollar has visited Colorado a few times. He has Colorado ties and visited while Coach Prime's been there. So there's that connection there. He also coached under Mike Zimmer in 2024 with the Cowboys, where Domata Peko was his assistant D-line coach. And he is currently not a coach anywhere. So Jeff Zagonina, and has ties to Warren Sapp, by the way. Okay, he is friends with Warren Sapp. So there's the Warren Sapp ties, the Deion Sanders ties, the Mike Zimmer, the Colorado ties, all of that, and he is available as a coach. Okay, so I could see him being the option there. I saw somebody at a different time bring up Bill Kollar. Bill Kollar is not going to be a candidate. He is not going to be a candidate. Okay, at all. That's not happening. Now, if you want youth, here's another candidate that my friend Scobuffs brought up, and that is Robert Rodriguez. Okay, Robert Rodriguez worked with Aaron Fletcher, our new DB's coach at Arizona State. He coached under Mike Zimmer, another Mike Zimmer connection, and one of the best D-line coaches in the NFL in Andre Patterson in Minnesota. He was a big part to why BJ Green decided to commit to Arizona State as a walk-on. So he has some recruiting chops. I like that about him. Okay. And he most recently worked out as an edge coach for the Arizona Cardinals. He was with Arizona State back in 2020. So available right now. So that is a potential option that was brought up as well by him. I love what he does over there on Twitter. Like I said, great follow. He does a lot of great research, which is why he finds these couple of guys that kind of make sense. They're available, not necessarily having to steal them from another team. Would be very interesting there. Now, a little bit more about Zagonina. Gave up the second fewest rushing yards per game in the NFC when he was with the Commanders. Allowed fewest rushing touchdowns in the NFC. Darren Payne had his only Pro Bowl appearance, had a career high in sacks, tackles for loss, pass defended, and quarterback hits. Jonathan Allen had a second Pro Bowl appearance, 7.5 sacks, 16 tackles for loss, 17 quarterback hits, and Montez Sweat, 8 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, and 28 quarterback hits. Okay. Because some people were saying that Zagonina would not be a good hire, and they were just showing kind of his body of work, and hey, he could come to the college game and help out there. Coach Prime playing chess, not checkers. Yep. I mean, there's connections everywhere with Coach Prime. Yeah, I said that. I said he's going to USC. I just threw that out there because he is available today. Hey, go kick the tires on that. But he's probably going to USC. I will say, Boo Carter is very surprising. For some reason, and you correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm just thinking things wrong with my, lack of sleep brain. I felt like when Boo came out of high school, he was pretty small, like skinny. He has built up quite a physique at his time at Tennessee. Not kind of your normal cornerback, Honestly, his physique makes sense for the positions that he's looking at. A nickel linebacker hybrid type deal. And then the idea that he might be a running back. Notice how Brennan Marion talked about him being a running back and not a wide receiver. So Boo Carter, looking quite strong. Oh, buddy, you've been out of the loop. I'm in Florida. We just adopted a baby. That's what I'm doing here. And I will be here until next week. You're going to have to catch up on all the social medias and stuff to see all the posts and announcements and pictures and stuff that I shared with everybody. But yeah, not traveling for work right now. We are in Florida and I'm on paternity leave for the next several weeks. So appreciate you. Did Vickers hit the portal? I don't believe he did. I have not heard anything, and the portal closed. I don't think he's a grad transfer either. Are we just saying because he's not on any video? Are we doing the well off I Spy game again, guys? Remember, do not play the well off I Spy game. Okay, wait until things become official. Let's slow down let's pump the brakes a little there, Marty. No offense. I love Preston Ashley. I love Preston Ashley. I'm sorry, guys. We are never going to see another Travis Hunter. Not for a very, very, very long time. Okay. Leadership wise, his connection to the team, how committed he is, I love seeing that. I'm very interested to see how he does. Energy, I get that. Energy, yeah. I mean, he's a fun kid. He has a lot of fun with football, just like Travis did. Interesting fact that somebody pointed out to me as well in the recent Well Off and Reach the People videos as far as the workouts go. It's been a week of workouts, and the guys that I was getting constant messages about on Twitter with Randone and Boo Carter about people saying, oh, Randone and Boo Carter are out of shape, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Guess who's leading the pack now in all the workouts? Boo Carter and Randone. Okay, Randon Fontanet. That just shows you guys how crazily insane in shape they actually are. Everybody, the first time they come and truly work out at altitude is going to struggle, no matter how much in shape you are. But once you do start to get acquainted with the altitude, the fact that it only took them a week to start leading these guys shows me exactly where they're at workout wise, because it usually takes 2 weeks to truly get acclimated to altitude. So if they're beating players already now, a week in, next week's going to be insane. They're really going to hit their stride and start feeling real good. It's so interesting because I again, we will talk about that, but the Tennessee fans in their feelings about Boo Carter were all over my tweets because I tweeted out and said, somebody who was like, oh, Boo threw up on the first day, he's not ready. And it was just Tennessee fan after Tennessee fan saying, you got a kid who's not in shape, he doesn't work hard, blah, 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 way to bring an excuse for altitude, all this stuff. People who have never visited altitude is one thing. Like a lot of people will say when they come to Colorado, they're like, I can't walk upstairs without getting out of breath, things like that. I'm talking about like working out at a high level professional athlete level in Colorado. It is no joke. The differences that does. And on top of that, it's no joke going back down to sea level. That's a cheat code in and of itself. Absolutely love that, playing college sports in Colorado. We took a trip down to Texas and played some soccer games back in college. And it was ridiculous how good all of us felt during those games. So it is not a joke. People do not understand it. I talked about it throughout the season when teams were coming to visit and people were like, because I was like, the one thing that could be a deciding factor in a close game is the altitude. The altitude is not going to solely win you games. No, the altitude is not being talked about enough in the college football world with how the go-go offense is going to work. that go-go offense, if they can get up to speed and they can get in shape and ready to go and they can play that at a high pace. I mean, it's the reason why, unfortunately, Sean Lewis talked about it, the fast buffs, whatever his quote was, it's been so a while. But doing a fast system at Colorado and doing it well is going to really work out. It is. And I know a lot of people have said that Sean Lewis probably should have stayed. He probably got the bad end of the stick. Was a better offensive coordinator than was given credit for, simply because the offense was more predicated to Shador and Travis at the time than really letting Sean run his offense. I get that, but now, hey, we've got a chance to see a brand new offense, and Brennan Marion and on that entire staff and all those players are going to work together to really cultivate it into a new go-go buff system. Okay. Go-go buff system. Yeah, go-go and high altitude is going to be a cheat code. That's why he wants most of the players to come in early during spring so they get acclimated to elevation. You have to. I mean, if you come in late, you're already way behind the eight ball. You're gonna have some issues. And we've seen that the last few years. We've seen late players not make as big of an impact on this team right away. And plenty of people are like, oh, but he has talent. Why isn't he starting? Why isn't the coaching staff? I guarantee you a lot of it is getting up to pace with the other players, conditioning wise. If you guys remember, Tafik Byard didn't start the season. He took a couple games to come into his own. And then once he took that starting spot, he never looked back. You have to wonder if a little bit of that was him coming in late last year and just not being able to get acclimated like the other guys who were already there and in the room, like a Carter Stoutmeyer, like a Ben Finnison. Now, did he eventually take over? Yes, because the talent will eventually rise to the top when you get up to speed. But Sean Lewis didn't understand black culture. He was hating his life because he wasn't in charge and he didn't like that. I mean, we don't have proof that that's exactly what happened, but I think we were in shape last year, but when Salter was delivering 3 and outs every drive, that defense is going to get tired. Brady, and I said that all last season. Like, when you really go back and watch those games, besides obviously the murderings, the 2 complete blowouts, the other games obviously were close games. The defense gave us opportunities. Now, did the defense put us in position to win games? No, they didn't. But they put us in situations where we had a chance to win. A little bit of a difference there, if you notice my wording. Okay, I didn't put that all in on the defense. Offense, though, way too many 4 and outs, way too many quick drives, way too many bring the defense right back on. And sometimes it happened 2-3 times in a row. And then all of a sudden now the defense is tired and they, get broken through. So very interested to see when we have complementary football on both sides of the ball. Will we see better defense and will we see more victories as a result? We will have to look at that. Hey, Russ, Travis Brothers is going to be in the 27 class. Do you think Colorado's going to offer him? I haven't heard anything on that. I've been waiting for that. I don't know if it's because of Travis's size. Athletically, very similar to Travis, but the size, I think, is killing his power forward chances, really anywhere power forward wise. And so I have to wonder if Colorado is maybe not going to go hard after him with everything going on now. I would love to see Travis in the go-go offense as well. Would absolutely love to see that. His athleticism is undeniable, but the size. Similar to Quentin Gibson. So maybe he could eventually transform into that. I don't know what the family connection is there. Obviously, Travis and Coach Prime, very close. But is Prime that close, feels like Travis is a son? I don't know. We haven't seen really any interaction there. So I'm not sure. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Size is very difficult there. If Travis was a normal, 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot or more, 100%, he'd probably be a 4 or 5 star recruit, out there. Right now, let me look at what his rankings are. Travis Hunter. Oh, let's see. So he's a 3-star composite, 5'7", 140. Yeah, and listen to his offers, guys. This kind of makes sense with that. I mean, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, Jackson State, Tennessee State, HBCUs. It's not Power 4 interest. He does not have really any Power 4 interest. Yeah, those are his only 4 offers, by the way, guys, for the class of 27. So unless he continues to go off this season and show, hey, I've grown a little bit. Hey, I'm dominating football my senior year. He might come on late to get a bunch of offers, but right now he is not a power 4 player, which is why Colorado is not really doing that. Now, he can always start down the normal route that most high schoolers are going to have to now, G5 FCS, HBCUs, what whatever it may be, and then make your way up, but hey, that's what we're doing. What up, Eric? Appreciate you dropping by today. Appreciate you. Hey, guys, while you're in here, drop a like. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're over on Twitter, jump over to YouTube. It's the best way to support me, and I will use it until the cows come home. You know, being a new father, I need that support on YouTube. So watch the show, comment, subscribe, like. Those things help me. Speaking of helping the channel, without further ado, I got to make sure to pay the bills. And that is, of course, our wonderful sponsors over at Taco Bell. That's right. Taco Bell has continued their sponsorship. They loved our partnership this past fall so very much that they brought it back for the off season with a new agreement with us. And right now, the biggest news that we can talk about is the quesarito. Guys, the quesarito is back at Taco Bell, has been back at Taco Bell for a while here now. It'll be going away before you know it. So if you haven't tried a quesarito, you need to at least try it, okay? If you're an OG that had the quesarito back in the day, you know what I'm talking about. Well, the new quesarito, pretty darn good. And not only is it good, but the legend of Nikola Jokic lives. Of course, if you don't know, Nikola Jokic was drafted by the Nuggets so late in the draft that it was in the middle of a quesarito commercial on ESPN back in the day. And so the joke has always been that the quesarito overshadowed Nikola Jokic's moment. Well, Nikola Jokic has tried the quesarito. He is officially in on the quesarito, and Taco Bell is killing it on the marketing with that. So you need to go try the quesarito at your local Taco Bell as soon as possible. Also, Taco Tuesday deals. Hey, Taco Bell helping out in this economy. Me as a parent, cheap. It's cheap. Okay. When you're trying to save a buck, Taco Tuesday meals, okay, deliver 4 $7 Supreme Lux boxes featuring beefy 5-layer burritos, chicken chalupas, Supremes, crunchy taco, and cinnamon twists. I swear the boxes are the best value on the planet. Okay. All of the fast food places that are doing their 4 for $5 and whatever deals, the Lux box offers the most bang for your buck of any fast food location. So make sure you go to your local Taco Bell, buy a box, get a quesarito, support Taco Bell for everything that they're doing here at Buffs News Weekly Live. We love them as a partner of the show. Appreciate you guys. I love having this. We got any more defensive signings? We will have some. I talked about that already earlier in the show. King, forgot to tell you. Excuse me. We are looking at some JUCO defensive linemen to bring in as depth. Don't expect anything big, guys. The big signings are over. The guys on the roster right now are going to be your main impact players. Any more players that you see get added for the most part are just going to be depth pieces to fill roster spots, to fill practice spots, all of that. We're in the 80s, guys, with scholarships, okay? We are, I believe, actually have more rostered with scholarships than we have in the past. So Coach Prime has bumped that up. I know a lot of people were upset. I even brought it up a couple times that Colorado was a little light on scholarships. Not the case this year, okay? They went all out. They filled out the main part of the roster. They're not up to the 105 max, so you might see some trickling of walk-ons and some JUCO grad players that are going to fill out depth positions at that point who maybe aren't necessarily looking for a starting spot, but looking to come in and prove themselves on a team. That's what's going to happen. It's interesting you should say that, King Matt, because I have been talking to Taco Bell. They are planning, I will give you a little tease, they are planning to bring back the Buffs Cups. And guess what? They're going to let you guys choose who gets to be on the Buff Cups next year. So if you want to see Preston on the Buffs Cups, you're going to have your chance here sometime this spring. So be on the lookout. I will definitely be a part of that. We'll all be a part of that. We'll get to decide who's going to represent the Buffs next fall. Because let's be honest, the Jordan Seaton Cup, rest in peace. Rest in peace. And my Jordan Seaton shirt. It's now Juju only. So that's where we're at. Let's see what we got. What do you guys got going on? Good day. Good day. Oh, appreciate Team FB. Seeing you guys come in. He might get an offer at least by the end of the season. I get it, but he's really on the roster because of his dad, and they're not really seeing the field, guys. They're here to get an education and be a part of the team because as staff they do get tuition covered. So hey, get a good education from CU Boulder, get to practice and be a part of this football team and have fun. And if you ever play, you play. Otherwise, he'd be at some really small school. Might he be playing? Sure, but does that necessarily matter? I don't know if it matters to him. I think it's pretty cool. That's actually a really good marketing tool to talk about. It was so successful this year, guys. The cups, the boxes, like sold out everywhere in Colorado. They sold so many of them. It was completely worth it. So they're doing that again this fall. So we'll be on the lookout for that. And a Presto Money Magic buff box would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Oh, now you guys are thinking, okay. Now you guys are thinking. I'm going to be reaching out to my contact at Taco Bell and giving him this idea, the Boo Baja Blast or the Baja Boo Blast. Right there. King Mac, I'll give you your credit where credit's due. Give you your credit is due. You need players down for the cause. I will tell you this, guys. You saw in the intro, if you missed it, the guys breaking it down in the gym. This has the air of 2024. I mean, 2023 had a very interesting because it was all exciting. It was new. But as you watch more behind the scenes and stuff like that, it didn't seem like juiced. And sure enough, we saw what happened on the field. And then 2024, we added a ton of players. Travis, Shador were obviously, talks of can they win a Heisman? What can they do at Colorado this year? And then they had the leadership retreat. And it felt different watching those videos. Then last year, while the roster on paper looked great, something seemed off. Something seemed off when it came to some of the players, when it came to the coaches. Obviously, not having Prime in the building, it just seemed like things were off. And this year, it is a 180, man. Brennan Marion is vibing. He's dancing. He's got the guys dancing for him. They're having a good time. They're getting connected. They're hanging out. The guys are really together. I mean, you see Juju hanging out with a lot of the guys. You see other guys, having friend groups and hanging out outside of football and posting on social media. There's something different about this group. And bringing in a ton of captains from the FCS G5 level, I think is a great way to do that because those guys have something to prove. They are not what you would call your stuck up, I'm better than everything kind of guy. No, they are guys that are hungry, wanting to prove a lot of people wrong because people are already calling Colorado G5U or FCSU or whatever you want to say. And I think that they're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder come this fall where they're going to want to show exactly who they are and that Colorado did not make a mistake adding them to this roster. Okay. So I'm excited. It was a big disappointment top to bottom. Coaches were terrible. Players were terrible. And thus equals a 3-win season. Okay. Cam, I just need some Boo Carter merch. Yep. Oh, yeah. We got to get that Boo Carter merch. We got to get that Boo Carter merch. Yeah, we got 7 months to go now. Now it's just preparation, watching everything unfold. I really do hope that they bring back the idea of potentially being able to scrimmage another team this spring. That's really going to be the only way we're going to be able to truly tell how we're doing. My plan is to hopefully be at the spring game come April. We'll see what happens with everything going on right now. If I have the time to run over there for the show, get you guys some footage, be live. And be at the spring game. I'll keep you guys updated for that, but we'll have to see what happens. Agreed, 100%. I love the chemistry that we're seeing. I love what's going on. Quarterback musical chairs and defense not being able to stop the run was the quarterback situation. Nobody wanted to really take lead in that room, figure that out. No, I still think the biggest mistake of the season, as bad as this sounds, was the Delaware game bringing in the other quarterbacks. Juju gets 2 series, had one good throw, everything else was off. I mean, at that point, if you're going to make the switch and just make Juju your quarterback. I was shocked that they brought in Staub so quickly. I was shocked. Like, I wasn't shocked that Staub did decently well because Staub is a serviceable quarterback. Is he a franchise, lead the team, win games for the whole season quarterback? No. And I was always like, oh, it's gonna be rough. Should have just went with Juju the whole season and just said, screw it. This is what we're doing. We're gonna live or breathe and die behind the freshman, like we did at the end of the season, where we looked decent enough, and he had his flashes because that was going to help the team so much more in the future than what we ended up seeing. Going back to Salter, especially with him sulking on the Houston sideline, like that was when I was done with him. I was done with him with the body language, and he wasn't helping Staub actively, and we're flushing it. We're flushing it, as Buddy says. We're flushing it. So there's that. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it there. Like I said, not too many long streams. We don't have too much going on, just making sure there's no breaking news happening. Always like to check that because, hey, if you're live and something happens, great. We'll refresh the signing list because while I've been live, at the very beginning was when Kennel Sweet Wine, I know you guys have said that he's been with the team, but he didn't officially sign until earlier today. Just letting you know. Yeah, nothing still on Joseph Peko, Cam Newton. Be on the lookout for that. We'll talk about that next stream with Dave if that comes to pass or if something changes and something happens. Obviously, we'll talk about it and we'll try and be a part of that. But that's where we're at. Love it, guys. I'm ready. Russ, I plan to be at the Georgia Tech game for sure. Alexis will be at the Georgia Tech game. Enjoy that. Seen an alert that Newton signed. I figured that was going to happen. I'm not surprised because that just makes sense. He's not going anywhere else. So there's that. Okay, guys. Oh, wait, one more thing. I forgot when the 1v1 start. Can someone tell me? We'll probably talk about it. We won't have anything else to talk about at that time. So until the next show, Friday evening, be on the lookout on the socials and YouTube for the announcement. We'll be bringing back the Buff Blitz to talk about the transfer portal and talk about the players we're most excited about. Have a good time on Friday night. Until then, we'll see you next time for Buffs News Weekly Live. I'm Russ. Go Buffs. Let's go.